This video is sponsored by Loot Crate, the monthly subscription service for epic geek and gamer items and pop culture gear. Marvel's Black Panther will be making his cinematic debut in Captain America: Civil War, but I think there's an obvious question that comes to mind whenever we discuss the character. Is Black Panther named after the political party of the same name, or perhaps maybe it was the other way around? Let's find out. Welcome to Comic Misconceptions, I'm Scott, and I don't know about you, but I'm excited about seeing Black Panther on the big screen. He's a really interesting character with a rich history. Black Panther, real name T'Challa, has shown up in the comics as a king of a highly advanced nation of Wakanda, an Avenger, a member of the Illuminati. He was even married to Storm of the X-Men for a while. He is a powerful man of superhuman strength, agility, senses, and more, all wrapped up in a suit laced with vibranium. Plus, he's the first black superhero in mainstream comics. This guy is truly awesome. You might understandably have a question about the origin of his name and whether or not it was inspired by the Black Panther Party, which might normally be something we would tackle on our other show, Alter Ego, but that show didn't exist when I scheduled this episode for this week, so here we are. In 1966, Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale founded an African-American revolutionary organization whose initial purpose was to conduct armed patrols of the streets of black neighborhoods to protect the residents from acts of police brutality. This organization would develop further, outlining a 10-point program that called for freedom, employment, housing, education, and more for members of the black community. This organization was none other than the Black Panther Party of Self-Defense. The Black Panther Party grew until it reached a membership peak in the early 70s, with thousands of members across the nation. But their activities soon ceased due to a combination of factors from vilification by the press, the FBI's counterintelligence program, and infighting amongst the party leaders that caused the organization to fall apart. By the 1980s, the Black Panther Party was all but gone, and while they didn't exactly accomplish everything they wanted to achieve, they were still influential and certainly made their mark on American history and the Black liberation movement. So the question is, did Marvel name Black Panther after the Black Panther Party? Well, the Black Panther Party I described just now was founded in October of 1966, and Marvel debuted their Black Panther character in Fantastic Four number 52, which is cover dated July of 1966. So, case closed. Marvel's comic actually predates the party, meaning they didn't name Black Panther after the organization. But wait, does that mean that the party got their name from the comic? No, absolutely, that's not at all what happened. The story behind how they chose their name is a little more complicated than that. The Black Panther Party actually adopted their name and seal from another organization that predates the Marvel character. Let me explain. 1 year earlier, in 1965, citizens of Alabama formed a new short-lived political party named the Lowndes County Freedom Organization, or LCFO, to hopefully beat out in the next election the Alabama Democratic Party, which promoted white supremacy. At this point in time, the literacy rate in Alabama was so low that it was actually a law that each party had to have its own unique symbol. That way people who can't read can still vote just by looking at the pictures. The first symbol for the LCFO was a dove, but they thought it was too passive, so the designer then chose to draw inspiration for the emblem from the mascot of the predominantly black Clark College, which is now Clark Atlanta University today. That mascot was, of course, the Panther. After adopting this logo, the LCFO became known as the Black Panther Party. Stokely Carmichael, the leader of the party and the man who coined the phrase Black Power, gave a speech where he said, quote, "We chose for the emblem a Black Panther, a beautiful black animal which symbolizes the strength and dignity of black people, an animal that never strikes back until he's back so far into the wall he's got nothing to do but spring out." Yeah, and when he springs, he does not stop. The goal of the Black Panther Party was to get enough people to vote in the upcoming election that an African American might be elected into office to improve the conditions of the impoverished black community. And it seemed to work. There were soon more black registered voters than white ones. Unfortunately, the Black Panther Party never actually won any election, largely due to deep-seated racism, as you might expect. Despite the defeat, the Black Panther Party became inspirational. Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton would later adopt the name and emblem for their own purposes, which I discussed earlier. So wait, am I saying that the Black Panther Party and Marvel's character of the same name happened to pop up completely independently of one another in the same year? Of course. course not. A few months before Black Panther made his debut, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were tossing around the idea of introducing a black character into the comics. Kirby had come up with a character named the Coal Tiger, but they just couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with him, so they shelved the character while they worked on other projects. They were just about to start working on the production of Fantastic Four number 52 when the New York Times ran an article about the LCFO Black Panther Party. Lee and Kirby decided that it was the perfect time to introduce the Coal Tiger under a different name, and you know what that name is. And here's a little bonus fun fact for you. The name Coal Tiger has been referenced a few times in the comics, most notably as an alternate reality version of T'Challa, which utilizes Jack Kirby's original design for the character. Little did they know that the name they chose for their character would soon become a controversial one. Remember, by the early 70s, the Black Panther Party peaked in membership, and had essentially become a household name in America. Marvel wanted to distance themselves from all of that controversy, so they changed up the character just a little bit. In Fantastic Four number 119, T'Challa, without any warning, starts calling himself the Black Leopard. Understandably, Thing is confused by the sudden name change and decides to inquire about it. T'Challa explains that he's thinking about returning to America, but the name Black Panther has political connotations. He, quote, neither condemns nor condones those who have taken up the name, but T'Challa is a law unto himself, end quote. Obviously, this name change did not stick. He was back to being called the Black Panther in no time. So to recap, Marvel's Black Panther was not named after the revolutionary organization that you're probably familiar with, or vice versa. Rather, they both took their names from the short-lived Alabama political party, who were themselves inspired by a college mascot. I couldn't find whether or not the college mascot was inspired by something, but I would love to continue to trace it back as far as we can go. What do you guys think? Does the name Black Panther for Marvel's character still carry a political connotation, or is it just a cool name? Are you excited about seeing T'Challa in the MCU? Let's talk about it all in the comments below. And if you were wondering, this video is sponsored by Loot Crate, a monthly subscription service for epic geek and gamer items and pop culture gear. For less than $20 a month, you get 6 to 8 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, unique one-of-a-kind items, and more. Loot Crate has supported YouTubers since the company launched, and subscribing to Loot Crate supports content creators. So supporting Loot Crate supports this channel. Call forth some hard-hitting companions and get ready to summon an epic Loot Crate. Loot Crate is celebrating all the monsters you can fit into your pocket and the ones you need some crazy circle drawing skills to bring to the mortal realm. So summon some excitement, because this month's crate features an exclusive collectible we're told is, quote, the most important object in pretty much the whole universe, plus awesome items from Blizzard, Kid Robot, and more. Sign up at lootcrate.com/NerdSync and enter the code NerdSync to save 10% on any new subscription. You have until September 19th at 9 p.m. PST to subscribe and receive the September crate, so go and do that. You do it right now. And if this is your first time hanging out with us here at NerdSync, we make new videos every week that ask questions and examine comics beyond the surface, because we believe that doing so can actually enhance your comic book reading experience and make comics just a little bit more awesome. So make sure you hit that big sexy subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Once again, I'm Scott. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram if that's your thing, if you want to do that. And I will see you right here on Friday for another video. See ya.